Can you hear me?
Yep, hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, kia ora, Chair, kia ora, members. Just open us with a karakira. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga. Kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai. He hiahia ana te ata kura, he tiko, he hio, he hoka, haumi e, hui e, tā ki e.
Kia ora, Tom. Well, welcome everybody to the first meeting of the last year of our term, and I declare the meeting of the Turangi-Tongariro Community Board open and ask, are there any apologies? I do have two. I have apologies from Donna and apologies from George. Are there any other apologies? Nope. Then I ask that we approve those apologies. Someone please. Thank you, Te Takinga. Thank you, Rob. All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. It's agreed. Are there any conflicts of interest today? Nope. Then we move on. And someone like to move that the minutes be taken as read and approved? Rob? And John, thank you. All in favour?
Aye.
Aye, again? That's agreed. Are there any matters arising from those minutes, please? Very good. Moving right along to reports. Begin with 4.1, item 4.1, and that's the electric vehicle charging station. And invite Dennis, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair and Community Board members. I'll take the item as read. If you recall, just before Christmas, a couple of you attended a Teams call with the Tesla project manager. There was some discussion and they undertook to provide some further information. I've provided that through to you separately as emails over the last 2 or 3 days for your information. And we have a couple of recommendations there in the report, and I'll take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Any questions for Dennis, please?
I have one, Chair. Just trying to look at bigger picture, asking around what is our capacity around what happens if other requests come in for charges? Is there any thinking from our officers or staff, like what does that look like? Is there going to be more charging stations around our car parks, or is there particular car parks that will be utilised for charging stations? I was just wondering, what is the thinking behind that, or is there any thinking regarding that?
So through the Chair, I can probably answer this. Council doesn't have a policy or a strategy about encouraging EV parking stations within car parks. What we do tend to be doing is reacting to service providers like Tesla or ChargeNet as they approach us. There is potential, well, that's not to say that as officers we haven't looked at what potential there is. We've got we're in discussions with another service provider that will be providing a different type of charger, and there is no reason why they won't be able to provide those charging facilities in Turangi as well as many of our other towns. So there is plenty of capacity in terms of car parking spaces that would be able to utilise them, but it just depends on the type of charging infrastructure that you use, whether you're using the high capacity chargers like Tesla, or more the trickle charge like you would do overnight or for longer periods of time.
Just through the Chair, Dennis, can I just confirm again? I'm trying to remember, what were the options 3 or 6, or was it just 6?
the preferred option for Tesla was to have 6 charging spaces plus the 2 for their charging cabinets and other infrastructure.
I think for me now, after I've seen some figures, you're going to have 3 to 4 sitting empty nearly all the time, to be honest with you, looking at the other stats that I've seen. So much as 6 is great, I think 6 will be too many. This is my opinion. I think 3 would be more than enough to start with, based on the figures that we've seen from other cities even. And I just feel that 6 will sit empty, and then you're going to have people parking in them anyway.
Talking to Tesla, John, when George and I had the meeting, they say that the number of charge points are based on algorithms, based on the number of cars in the country and feedback from those cars because they're all connected. They seem to think 6 was a number that would be utilised. I mean, there's definitely going to be times when they're empty. I mean, there's going to be times when 3 are empty. Don't you think?
I think since we've seen the figures, though, I'm not sure that stacks up anymore, to be honest with you, because I've seen all the figures, and the figures in big cities don't even stack up to 6 being full most of the time. All I'm saying is that I have no issue having them. I just don't want to see people just parking in them anyway, and then you end up with them being used for the right purpose.
Yep.
Just through the chair, a stat that you may not be aware of, and it's something I came across reading through an EV article the other night. The Tesla imported something like 650 odd vehicles just in the last 12 months, or sold in the last 12 months in New Zealand. Numbers are getting up there.
Rob, you had a question?
Yes, through the chair. Has that location been changed? I thought when we first saw it, it was on the Bailey's side of that car park towards the police station. Now it's been moved to closer to town, which supporting what John's saying, that people will park there because they tend to park up near that entrance to town. They fill up that sort of side of the car park. Why was it moved?
So through the chair, what the proposal you're seeing in the current report was the original proposal. The board recommended the parks over by the real estate firm Tesla during their discussions with board members before Christmas, identified that this site that's currently before you was their preferred site.
Okay, thank you.
My understanding was from feedback from Tesla that discussions with Turangi-Tukua also, Turangi-Tukua also agreed that was a preferred site. Is that right, Dennis?
That's correct.
Yeah.
It also minimises their costs because there's a transformer in close proximity to that site.
Can I just say, though, that if I was a tourist to town and it was nighttime, I would not park there. I'd drive on to Taupo. That's not a great place for a tourist to go. It's just not, unless they're going to relight it or do something with it. It's not somewhere I would drive into a town I don't know and just sit there for half an hour in the dark.
So through the chair, included in my report, Tesla have indicated that they were going to provide additional lighting for that site.
Cool.
Do we have any further questions?
One question. Another further question, Chair. Is there any consideration in regards to our community members that may be those that may be having mobility issues, our elderly, particular when it comes to car parks that are very close to our shops? So when I think of our older population, they would probably prefer car parks that are closer to, and similar to the example I gave at the Bailey's car park, usually the car parks that are closest to our shops are more more favoured by our community users. So my kōrero would be allowing car parks that are closest to community shops more available to our community users as preferred to users of Tesla who will be visitors. So my question is, has there been any consideration on a kaumātua disability kaupapa?
Would through the chair, would that have come? That would have been discussed when Turangi-Tongariro agreed to the site. Is that not right?
I wasn't participating in that discussion, but one might hope so, but I can't guarantee that's the case. So, there are a lot of close car parks in that vicinity. I've had quite a close look at where they're going to go. However, they are the most direct in a straight line, the six that they're proposing. Dennis?
Yes, that would be correct.
So my question to our officers is, was there any consideration for our elderly or those that are less mobile to have closer access to our shops?
So the location, as I previously advised, this is a location that was preferred by Tesla. There was another location close by. This is their preferred location. This is the location that the board is to consider.
And my question again, if I can, Chair, is there any consideration for those that are less mobile to have closer car parks? So when other proposals come, the closer car parks are a bit more easier, user-friendly to our users in our community. So I'm just wondering if we've had conversation with our transport team, who always advise us about these types of car parks, and now we seem like we're giving the closest car parks to another provider. So I'm just wondering, have we talked to those in our other teams?
Yes, I am the head of the transport team, so that discussion has been had, but again, I say, if it is a community wish or a board wish that you would like those parks to be available for older folk, then that's a decision that you can make and decline or advise on a different location you'll be prepared to accept.
Well, through the chair, I don't see anything wrong with where they were going originally, to be honest with you, but that's just me.
Just a few comments from me. Still quite supportive of the paper and the intent. I hear what Te Takinga is raising around the provision for members of our community. I suppose it goes back to that question that was posed first, is what is our strategy as a district on this, so that we're not making ad hoc decisions when they arise. But I suppose just as a user of the roads, along with yourselves, I can't help but notice how many Teslas I have passed. My kids have a game to pick out Teslas as we're driving, and they're saying it a lot. So there's no doubt in my mind that those vehicles are on the move. I guess one of the things that's why I've been quite keen on it is around that economic impact. And I think the comments around the original location between Bailey's and the police station, yeah, in my opinion, was better suited to support that economic growth if we want people to populate the the surrounding environment. I'm not to say that they couldn't do it at its other location, but what John's saying I think is also right, which is it's just a little bit off to the side. But that aside, I think, you know, what we do know is that these vehicles will increase in their popularity and purchase, and so I suppose if we look at where Turangi is positioned halfway between our major centres of Auckland and Wellington, it would appear to me that there's always going to be a need for people to stop. If you're a Tesla user, you may not want to embark on the desert road during winter, and so again, there's other reasons why people may want to stop and support that. So yeah, just my thoughts, Chair, as I'm very supportive of the paper and keen to see something continue.
Thank you. All right, I think if there's no further discussion, we will put the recommendations that we have here, and there's two recommendations. One is that we revoke the last resolution that we made on the 3rd of November. Can somebody please move that resolution? Thank you, Tom. Seconder. Thank you, Te Takinga. All in favour? Right. Against? Do we have an against? No. Okay, it's agreed. Thank you. And then resolution 2, that the board approves option 2 for Tesla to establish a 6-bay electric vehicle charging station in the eastern car park between Turangi Town Centre and Turtle Pools, with above ground infrastructure occupying 2 additional parking spaces for an initial period of 5 years, with 2 rights of renewal of 5 years each. Can I have someone move that recommendation, please?
Chair, would there be
Yes.
any consideration with an amendment that the 2 closest car parks be available?
Can we do that, Dennis, do you think?
It may be possible. I guess from a practical sense, you have the island that's got the trees in it. The first 2 car parks they were going to utilise for their cabinets, and then the 6 parks would be utilised for their parking spaces. If you shifted them, if you're looking eastwards, if you shifted them to the left and provide 2 spaces immediately next to the island, their cabinets would then be in that second set of bays. That might be possible. They would probably need to erect some form of barrier protection to prevent vehicles accidentally driving into them. So yes, that would be possible.
I'm happy to stay with the original, Chair, but it's good to get that information.
Right, thank you, Te Takinga. And you second that? Did you second that for me, Tuck?
Yes, I will.
Thank you very much. I'll put the recommendation then. All in favour, please say aye.
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 Against? That's agreed. Thank you, board. Moving on to, and thank you, Dennis. And Kevin. Move on to the next report, please, which is 4.2, Turangi-Tukua Park Community Sports Facility. John, do we need to move that?
Yeah, so the intent is to move that into confidence,
Yeah.
and the reason being is we're discussing some commercially sensitive information.
So we'll drop that to the end of the agenda.
You just need a move and a seconder for that.
Thank you. Thank you, John. All in favour?
Aye.
It's agreed. Thank you. So we move to 4.3, which is the update from Peter on the revitalisation project, please.
Good afternoon, Chair and board members. I take it that everybody has read this long update that I've sent through. I'll just run through it quickly and then I'll take any questions afterwards. So I've put in a package 2 update I had a chat and a meeting this morning with the guys. It's actually moving a bit quicker than that we anticipated last year. So the contractor is currently in Maria Place, as I said on the report, Tarifa, Tiwiiki, Ria and Maratoa Groves. So all the trees have been removed in package 2. They're busy with the curb and channel in Ria and Maratoa, and they're busy tidying up the berms in Tiwiiki and Tarifa. There's a short piece of curb and channel that needs to be done in Tarifa. But other than that, it's going very well. The contractor is anticipating to be finished end of February, first week in March with package 2. Then we have scheduled in that they're going to go into Taua Hanga Road the 14th of February. That's in 2 weeks to do those 2 small islands. And we won't close off the whole road. We've got a plan in place. We'll just close the small section in the middle, and we will still have vehicle access on both sides of the road. Then I'll go to the next one. I've just added in some photos for the different areas that they're busy with. Page 26. So Maria Place, I've just said their footpaths are completed. They're busy with driveways and berm tidying up. Then Tiwiiki Place, we totally completed that area there, that section. That's all done. Tarifa, like I just mentioned, I think there's about 30 or 40 meters of curb and channel left to be done. Then the berm tidying up and topsoiling is actually looking much better than previously when we started with the project. We've done a few changes to it and some lessons learned on that as well. So I must say it's looking much better. Then I'll just run into package 3 then. So with package 3, we've got 5,930 meters of curb and channel to be done. We've got 9 streets to be done in this package. And in a total of 183 trees that needs to be removed. So this is quite a big part of the project, this one. You'll see that I've listed there just the location maps, and I've gone through each street. Patikura Place, I've noted and I've showed the red and the green lights of which trees will be removed and which ones will be staying. And I've put in some issues, examples of issues in the streets. Rota Street, Tui Grove, Nei Grove. I'm just running through them because it's almost the same on most of them. Let me just go through here. Then I've got on page 59 of the report, package 3 costs. So I've just listed out the costs so that everybody is aware of the costs that we've got. This is the newly repriced costs that we've worked on, like I mentioned just before we closed in December. And that's got a contingency in there as well for any issues that we should maybe hopefully not get in the package. And then I've just put in budget estimates in there. So I've showed you the cost spent to date on package 1 and 2. Yes, we are still busy with package 2. And then I've just showed you the estimated spend that we will be spending on packages 2 to 5. And that gives you a total of 11 million. And like I've mentioned there, the central government funds budget was 6.6. And then the proposed annual plan was 2.2 for 22 to 23. And then the funding for 23 to 24 is another 2.2. So that gives you the total budget of 11 million. So, yes, my recommendation is just that with the next sitting, if the board would maybe take it and give approval for package 3, so we could carry on with the work and have a constant flow for the contractors. So I'll take any questions or anything that we've got now.
Thank you, Peter. Are there any questions for Peter? Yes, Rob?
Yeah, through the chair, kia ora, Peter. Just with the replanting of the trees, I know we didn't, we stopped at Turangi, but how's the planting for the other areas, or have we missed that planting period?
Yes, we've missed the planting period. It's scheduled to continue in April. And what we've done now is I've arranged a water truck that's going through from, it started off last week, and it's watering each and every tree that's still standing. And then I've arranged that Andrew, the contractor, the subcontractor, comes through. They said they'll hopefully start this week, otherwise early next week, and they'll go and put new mulch in and just add some nutrients to all the tree roots and everything. And then we'll continue watering all the trees. And as soon as we finish with package 2's berms, this water truck is going to go through every second day and water all the berms. And we will also do a weed spray to the end of this month. So just to get rid of all the weeds that we've got on the berms.
So are those planting schedules for the next lot of streets that have been factored into your costing?
Yes, they have. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
John, did you have the question?
Yeah, can I just ask Peter? I haven't heard any more about trees being vandalised. Have we had any more issues?
I saw a couple in Hingai when I was there last week, but it's just small branches that's been broken off. But I have spoken with the subcontractor, and they're going to go around and prune them and see if they can get them to just continue on growing. But I have made a list, and Andrew's got the list for the ones that's been vandalized to get replaced. But I'll get a report from the arborists in next week when they're down there to see which ones they have to remove or not. But other than that, there was no other ones that's been broken totally off to the ground or removed or anything.
And so just with the replanting on the next schedule, is that an autumn thing or a spring thing?
I would say it's going to be an autumn thing, yeah. Yes, that's as far as I understood. I can get back to you on that, but that's as far as I understood.
I'm just thinking autumn would be better. There'll be less people hanging around, like it gets colder. I'm just thinking for the trees, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, thanks, Chair, and yeah, thanks, Peter. Very comprehensive report. Always like photos to see what's going on. So I'm happy with what you've sort of outlined there. Yeah, my question is actually around the tree stuff. So I know we've had some comments in the community around their concern for the trees given the hot summer we've had. And you've just outlined that there'll be some watering going on. I guess I don't know if this question's so much directed at you, Peter, or might be a Gareth or one of the managers, but you know, we're obviously still encouraging our community to abide by water restrictions. But when we have such a large number of newish trees that are planted, what are our provisions to deal with that, to get the community to assist us? Because I think the notion of having a water tank rolling around on a tanker may well not address the issue of assisting these trees to grow. I guess I'm just asking that question. Are there ways in which we can encourage our community to help us there, which may well breach our water restrictions, but certainly would help our trees? Just a question.
Yes.
Yep. Well, all I was going to say was the restrictions wouldn't apply, Tong, for this because it's only around sprinkler use. So hose use, etc., is okay for level 1 restrictions. And I guess, yeah, absolutely. If we could try and engage the community to look after the trees outside their properties, that makes perfect sense.
I am meeting the comms team, Andy, down there on Friday, and then I'll get them to add in something in the next report that they send out, asking the community for any assistance. I have seen a couple of community members watering the trees as well, and looking after the berms. There are a few there's nothing been done to the berms, but that's why I've scheduled in a truck to go around and do some watering to try to assist as well. But I'll get Annie to add something into the report to the community as well.
Yeah, thanks for that, Peter. Yeah, I think it's just I think people will do something if we ask them to do. Otherwise, they may well just expect that council's always going to do it. But yeah, cool. Thanks for that.
No problem.
Any more?
Yeah, I've just got my hand up. I just want some clarity on package 3.
Yes.
So package 3 is going to be discussed in our annual plan consultation document because it's not budgeted for this financial year.
No, so package 3 is still in the budget. It's that package 3 will still be covered by the what do you call it? The central government funds. Package 4 and 5 will be from the annual plan funding. So package 1, 2, 3 is covered underneath the government funds.
Okay,
central government funds.
Thanks for that, Pete. Sorry, I misunderstood.
No.
Thank you. Any further comment or questions for Peter? I would just add that my wife Janine's been out watering all the ones at the start of Rangipuia Place there religiously. She's been quite zealous about it, taking up buckets of water, but mulch would help. They're not mulched apart from my own cool
Yes.
Got some grass around it, but some mulch would definitely help around those trees. They certainly are dry.
Mm.
All right, we'll put the recommendation. Peter, thank you for your report.
Thank you.
I agree with Tong on the comprehensiveness. It's very, very good, and it's certainly good to see the diagrams and photos. So the recommendation that we continue with package 3 as outlined in the presentation. Somebody move that. Thank you, Te Takinga. Second, Rob, thank you. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? It's agreed. Thank you, board. Thank you, Peter. Okay. 4.4 is Turangi projects and operations.
So Jason will put it on this, I think.
Somebody move.
Everyone. Cool. So the Turangi Customer and Visitor Support Centre, we've had a productive December-January period. The opening of the borders domestically saw an increase in some domestic tourists, and the Christmas New Year period saw a lot of holiday makers coming down to batches. We've also been running with just a reduced staffing at the moment, just due to staff movements, but that's getting recruited for at the moment, which is great. I'm super proud of the team for making their way through that. Some good news on the renovations of the Customer and Visitor Support Centre, finally. Just this morning, we had the team come through with the builder to assess and discuss the renovations. So they'll probably most likely be completed in a couple of stages, with stage 1 being the removal of the internal walls, the painting, and the creation of some more meeting areas. With stage 2, which is still to be confirmed, with some new external windows going in. Stage 1 will be started as soon as possible, with some keen excitement from us, because we want it done. And with everything going as scheduled, the new boardroom for us should be ready for, I want to say the March, but most likely the April board meeting. There's 12 days of construction, and then we've got to get painters in to paint and electricians, which take about a month altogether. That's including the 12 days. We're also undertaking new external signage for the building as well, just some more branding, and utilising the current structures in place, like the big external banners and flags that we have, just updating them to be more in line with the Taupō District Council. That's currently being mocked up by our graphics team, with digital proofs hopefully being available in the next week. And that'd be great for the area as it draws more people in and lets them know that we're here to help them and they can pop in and see us. Just for service requests, there's been a few recurring themes lately, especially dogs, roaming, barking, rushing and off lead. There was an increase over the holiday period. especially with dogs over in Omori Kulatau, down in the reserves there. But I guess to speak of the greatness of our compliance team with the council, in one day alone in Turangi, there was 43 dog complaints or service requests, and these were all completed in that one day. So they got onto those really fast. And obviously noted with the rubbish over the holiday period and a bit of delay there for some of that rubbish pickup. The team are currently workshopping on how to improve the service they can provide. But obviously due to the holiday period, there was an increase in waste. They're collecting about 5 tons a day. They also had a few truck breakdowns and that kind of thing as well. So I think they've done a great job considering all the above. And yeah, we're just seeing like a lot of social media regarding complaints towards the council, etc. But very few of these are actually being lodged with the council. So if you guys can reach out to the community and your contacts to just kind of get people to actually contact the council instead of just blasting on social media. I think people are very, very quick to go on social media to discuss their annoyances, but no one actually really contacts us to do anything about it. Especially with motorbikes. A lot of social media traffic on the motorbikes going around the reserves and around town, but we actually only had 4 service requests and complaints regarding those. Yeah, and then along with that, just talking to Senjo's and Hera from Senjo, we've got some problems with the youth congregating in the town centre at the moment. That's mostly concerning the Wi-Fi that is offered by the library. So he's, Hera from Senjo is contacting the police and trying to find out a way to sort that out. And that's pretty much it from our end.
Thank you, Jason. John.
Sorry. Yeah, so we talked about yesterday actually at council as well, reference what had gone on over summer and the good and the bad points. I'll just reiterate what I said yesterday about the rubbish and that. I think we shouldn't beat ourselves up about this. Like we're talking about how much, like you've just said, how much rubbish we get over this time of the year. I think what we need to do is, we were talking about it, is maybe be a bit different in how we do it. But our, if you like, news out to the public, I reckon worked really well this year in the Southern Lake District. I think we had a lot less complaints. I had, as you say, social media, yes, people were having a go, but then when you actually explained it to them, or we put out a memo, they actually calmed down, so I think we were actually quite good on that front. I think what you're talking about with the bikes and that, I think, again, this is, in my mind, down to us actually putting out memos, if you like, or even information like you've just said there. But I already got that information that there are only 4 bike-related complaints. I'm still waiting to find out how many from the police. Hundreds of comments on Facebook. And as we've said already to them on Facebook, Facebook doesn't get it done. But what it does do is it shows that we need to get them from Facebook, as you say, to council. And I think we've got to do that in that public way. We've got to be the ones that go out and actually put out things that say, you do realize there's only been 4 people, and then we can have that discussion, as you say, on social media. We've done it before, like how we actually make people then phone the service line. It's not difficult stuff, but it's that disconnect we've got. And I think we're getting better at it, but I do think we need to be a bit more proactive in the fact that, like you've just said there, the amount of dogs in one day, that in itself as a story is huge. We've got to put that out there and go, look, this is what we actually do. And it's actually for Turangi to now step up, either stop your dogs escaping or, actually make a service request. So for us, I think we do a really good job. I think we've done really well over the summer, and you guys have been busy, and we were talking about it yesterday. Kudos to everybody who's been out there over the period. And I just think we're working better. I just think we need that a bit more from us, if you like, front footing it and actually saying, well, this is what we do, and let's just discuss it.
Thank you, John. Anyone else? No, I agree with you, John. I thought we actually did really well. I was around most of the summer, and I certainly wasn't aware of huge issues, and I do get about town quite a bit. Okay, thank you. The recommendation is that we receive the monthly report. Somebody move that, please. Thank you, Tom. Second. Rob, thank you.
Yep.
All in favour?
Yep.
Yep. Thank you. Move on. Thank you very much. It's agreed. Thank you, Jason. Community engagement, 4.5.
Kia ora koutou. It kind of feels weird to say Happy New Year, but I think with some of you I haven't seen you this year, so Happy New Year to you all. And it's a shame that we're over Zoom, but I guess it's better than nothing in these strange times. Hey, I'm going to use this this agenda item to introduce you to Marama Isherwood. So Ma won't be a stranger to most of you, but for those of you who haven't met Ma yet, she's just sitting next to Jason there in Turangi. Ma's joined the team from RAL. She spent 32 years on the Maunga, known as the Maunga Auntie, I believe. So we're really, really thrilled to have Ma here in the TDC whānau. One of the strengths that Marama brings is her relationships that she already has. And with those relationships comes a level of trust from the community. That is only going to be a good thing for council and for the work that you do, but also the work that we do and how we can engage with our communities in Southern Lake Taupo. So I'm going to pass over to Ma just to introduce herself, and she's just going to talk a little bit about the work that she has been doing the past 3 weeks since she's been part of the team. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou. Ko whakarongora te maunga, ko mokunui arangi te marae, ko utakura te awa, ko hokianga te moana, ko ngā tuki mata whaurua te waka, ko te ngahi te hapu, ko ngā puhi te iwi, ko marama Isherwood hau. It's really nice to be able to join in on this hui today. I'm wishing obviously that it was more face-to-face, but that's okay, because I've already had to meet so many faces over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, from my pepeha, you may have picked up that I'm not actually of Tū Whare Toa. Hiahia, my husband, and our 3 children of Ngāti Hikairo, so over at Rotoaira. And I think possibly in a way, for me and my role, it could be a good thing actually that I'm not of Tū Whare Toa, because it kind of keeps me a little bit more open to maybe a bigger picture. I guess for me in my role over the last 3 weeks, key things obviously has been the meeting and greeting with the community, the hapu, the iwi, catching up actually with a lot of whānau and being really warmly welcomed into this new role as the Southern Lake Taupo engagement partner. It's something I believe I'm going to be quite successful in. And as Libby touched on, I guess good for me that I already do have quite a lot of strong relationships with a lot of people in the community, both young and old. And it's been really evident already, just walking through the streets with different people such as Libby and with Ian today, all the people that come up and hug and kiss and congratulate, makes me feel really good in this role. So I guess what's been really great is my second week of the job, managed to organise a hui with the Ngāti Turangi Tukua Charitable Trust, where Libby and I went along and joined them for kai and meet and greet. And I think that was really important in these early stages of this role. And it actually, again, became quite evident when only a couple of days later, I was asked if I wanted to step in and assist with a discussion around what had happened with some fires that week. And it was being able to talk to Turangi-Tukua about some work that needed to be done on the access road up to the water treatment plant. And I felt that I already had some quite good relationships there whereby I was able to start those discussions. And I feel that has already gone quite nicely, and I'm hoping that there's going to be a good outcome to that over the next couple of days. It is, sorry, bear with me. Another thing that has been key already is working with the Tū Wharetua Trust Board and trying to just set it up so that I can put my profile out there to the marae. So as much as I can, I'd love to be doing that face to face. Obviously, a lot of the marae are currently closed due to the COVID restrictions. So we're just looking at maybe sending that out via emails to the chairs of each marae, just letting them know that I'm now in this role, what I'm here to be doing, and just making them aware actually that there's some good things actually about to happen for us, I believe, in the community. I guess something really exciting, apart from those things, is being able to get on board with one of the projects, which is Te Kapua Park, the Papatakoro, so the playground. So at the moment, I'm organising community engagement with schools, Kohanga Community Rangatahi Group, and I'm working through that as best process with some of the whānau at the moment. And again, that is going along really nicely. And obviously now that schools have just gone back, I think it's really good timing that this has all kind of fallen in my lap. So really keen to move that stuff along. And yeah, I think that's going to be really well received, obviously. Another thing that I've kind of seen could be really helpful to the community is, along with Jason and the comms team, we've kind of seen a need to be able to share to the community the council facilities and the services that we offer in the town. Just through conversations, it came to my attention that some people didn't actually even know that the eyesight was even open. A lot of people, after some discussions I had, thought that the library only lent out books. So I think there's a lot of teachings that can be done. So just trying to organise with the comms teams to be able to get some really short, sharp videos out there to the community so that people know what's here, what they can do and what's available to them. And I guess alongside that, today, for instance, I've just been down into the community hub where Kathy Smallman's based. And I really liked the feel of that place. I thought it was in a really good part of town. And I think what could be cool for me as well would be to maybe base myself in there one day a week, whereby the community might feel quite comfortable to come in there and have a chat with me maybe about any concerns they might have to do with council. So at the moment, I'm kind of basing myself between the eyesight, looking at that community hub and a couple of days a week in Taupō. So I think it's really important and really key that I can move around and make myself available. And obviously getting to know all of the community groups because there are a lot. But it's really nice to have met already some of those key people and to be invited to be a part of the different groups and things that they're operating. Some of them I'd never even heard about, and a lot of them I think are so important to the town. So So yeah, quite a lot going around in my head at the moment, but I really like the challenge. Obviously, as Libby said, the last 32 years spent up at Whakapapa Ski Field, huge part of my life, nothing whatsoever to do with the council, but it set me up in good stead for some really good customer relations, front-facing, dealing with people is what I'm really good at. And so I'm really looking forward to this role and what it will bring for both myself and obviously for the community. So yeah, looking forward to meeting all of you who I haven't already met. But yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Kia ora, Ma. No mai, haere mai. We're thrilled to have you on board. And thank you, Libby, for that opportunity for Ma. That was good use of that time. Fantastic. We look forward to working closely with you, Ma, and don't hesitate to contact any one of us at any time. We're all available. Kia ora. Anybody else want to add a comment?
Just from me, Chair, I think after a lovely kōrero like that, you always end with a waiata. You can sing.
Ah.
Okay, seeing as he asked for one, and I'm trying to think of one that's quite relevant to myself and where I live and my whānau. So I'll do this. Kamate, kamate, kaora, kaora, ene te tangata. Nana e tiki mai, whakawhiti ora, Opane, kopane, opane, kopane, whititera. Opane, kopane, whititera. Kamate, kamate. Kia ora whānau.
Kia ora, Ma.
Kia ora mana ma.
You're right. Beautiful.
She's raised the bar.
Yes, yes. Yep, I want each of you to have your waiata ready for next meeting, please. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. All right, there's a recommendation that we receive the report from community engagement. Thank you, Te Takinga. Thank you, Rob. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? It's agreed. Thank you all. And before we move into confidentiality for the final session, we have members' reports, please. So we'll just, I'll just take random. If you want to add your report, please just indicate and we'll just move around through the board. Yes, Te Takinga.
Chair, I would like us to write a note, share our messages of support and love to our emergency services who work so tirelessly over the summer break. We were pretty a tragic time in our community. It's the most of all summers, this summer has been the hardest hit in amongst our community through tangihanga. I was on the marae one day and we had two funerals in the one same day. Basically from December all the way through to January, there's not one day off. Included a child of one of our staff members. I do like to add to note the support of staff during that time for one of our whānau members, and then to see our staff present, it was a touch of class. But I would like to make a particular mention for for us to acknowledge the work our emergency services do for our community. So I'd like us, Chair, from the board to write our messages of gratitude for the services that they provided. I'd also like to acknowledge also the work from our teams during that difficult time, because we're so busy. Yeah, also acknowledge those families that have lost loved ones, and also acknowledge the contributions from community members, those that have passed on. And they were young. We had a lot of young people pass away. But the things they brought to our community, the smiles and happiness and the joy, they were part of sports teams, and they're part of our whānau, part of our marae, and it was a very sad time. And so I'd just like to acknowledge that. The second part, on a more positive note, I'd also like us to acknowledge the Safe Turangi and Christmas in the Park team. By far, they brought smiles on our faces during a time of uncertainty. We didn't know what was happening. And during those first few days of December, man, they did, the whole community just loved it. And the messages, the photos that were shared from individuals across social media pages. I drove drove past a number of times where they were, and the thought that they did was just perfect. Couldn't have been better. And so I'd like us to formally acknowledge our Safe Turangi team and the Christmas in the Park team for doing a fabulous job. I think it was more than what we could have asked for. Like, you know, it's usually a day. We got 14 or 15 days. I don't know how many days, 12, how many days? There's a few days anyway. And I'd just like to appreciate the time that they spent and the efforts they went down. So I was hoping a note could go to them also. Further to that, I just, all in all, I think the teams from our council teams have done wonderful. The town looked really good. And so everywhere we went, everywhere I went over the Christmas break just looked good. And so I see some of our staff members during even the public holidays going out, those stat days and cleaning up, picking up rubbish, and all those small things don't go unnoticed. So I just like to, just a big shout out to all of our community, our Taupō District Council community and Kaimahi for doing that extra part during the holiday period. So to you, Gareth, thank you, and thank you to all of our staff. Ngā mihi.
Kia ora te tākinga. Tautoko your messages here, especially with the emergency services. I'll be happy to pen our response to that and get it out to you guys before sending it off. In relation to the Safe Turangi Christmas, I received a lovely card and I went to find it, but I mislaid it at the moment, but it's to us, the board, thanking us for our contribution to that event and allowing it to go ahead. Handwritten note, the most fantastic printing. I wish I could print like that. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else have a report they'd like to add? Yes, Rob.
Yeah, I support everything that Takina said. It was awesome Christmas in the park, and my daughter was a recipient of one of those meat packs. Thank you, Tonganui. That was great, and you know, it just brought so many smiles to a lot of people. And you know, we gave you a tohu. You didn't know what you were going to do, but between you and your team, awesome job. And of course, our hearts go out to those people that have lost loved Yes, it has been a bad time. And I guess that's where I was talking with quite a few of our residents in terms of problems they're facing. Motorbikes was one issue they had, and especially these walkways, them using them as exit points so they can escape the police. I know that we talked about the walkways and getting them done quite a while back, and I'm still awaiting some results of that. Yeah, I'm going to actually unload a few of these requests onto Ma. The people wanting frisbee golf, soccer golf down the fields, the mosaics. We looked at those and we wanted a result there. We're still waiting on those again. Our information po, I think that might help our eyesight team in terms of being able to get information and not have to come in as such. I know they're very busy at times, so having that kind of information outside the eyesight would help, I think, and it'll help our community in terms of advertising their businesses and support groups that we have in Turangi, along with maps and stuff like that. I spoke to a few of our residents, including our co-board member in Whareroa, and George, and they were looking at, they had such great numbers this year. They had a few issues there. I'll let George take care of those, but one thing that did come up was an alcohol sign for them, as we have for all Māori, that we might get one there for them, just to highlight the drinking areas. There was quite a bit of drinking down at along the reserves, and a lot of rubbish left there. So possibly if we could look at that prior to next year, that'd be cool. And I'm also going to unload the cemetery trees onto Ma, because that's another issue that was supposed to be done and completed, and it's still there, and people are asking, especially those that are at the school, because one of the issues was that some of those trees could have actually, if they do fall, which they're leaning that way, could actually endanger the kids in the playground. So I'll unload that one later. I've had inquiries about the Rangimohia subdivision that's coming up. They wanted information as to where it's going, how it's going to be put out to the community. So I'm hoping John can shed some light on that for us.
So that's a consented subdivision?
Yes, correct.
So when you say,
about it,
yeah,
but they're wondering where it is, how is it going to impact on streets, their plumbing and stuff like that. Just general questions, but they thought there might be a public forum on that. No,
it's a consented subdivision. If you've got any queries, Rob, send them in my direction.
Okay,
yeah, that's cool. Report to people.
Yeah, and the other one was you may be able to shed some light on, John, was the camping ground. It's closed. That's the one connected to the back where Frankie and them live. Dempsey.
Yeah, we might do that outside this forum.
Okay, yeah.
It's currently closed. Yeah, but there's some commercially sensitive stuff in there which we'll probably do outside this forum, if that's okay.
Yeah, David just asking about it, if it was going up for tender or what was going to happen. That's all. And that's about it. But Happy New Year to everyone. It's going to be a big new year for us in terms of many things changing for the board and mana whakahono. So I'm looking forward to the challenge. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Rob. Any other members? I just acknowledge we've got Paula.
Yes, finally. Yeah. Apologies for that. I have been listening though, not partaking. So, welcome to Marama from myself. So, yeah. And did we get Donna's apologies? Cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, just like to heads up, Tonganui, our emergency staff have been doing fantastic, and I really don't have any qualms in that with the services in the area. They've been I think they've been improving and improving by the year. So I'm really pleased about that. So.
Kia ora, Paula. Anybody else?
Oh, Chair, I suppose I better just respond to some of that stuff. But just I suppose on behalf of the services, thank you for the kind words. And I think all services will certainly welcome any sort of communication in that. It has been the most incredible, difficult time, both in terms of the loss of some of the whānau that have been mentioned, or our families, but also just busyness, across the board: police, ambulance, fire, rescue helicopter, so on and so forth. But we say this often, we're a very resilient community, and there's some really good people, and so we learn as a community to be to shoulder these things together, and so quite a lot of our posts that we will share socially, you'll always see this term emergency service whānau, and it talks about the collective, because I suppose when things do get difficult, that's where you rely on each other, not just our teams internally, but across the board. So for some of those families, we all knew them. They were people we either grew up with or whatever. And so that has an impact. Outside of what we do in the services, it has an impact. But we support each other, we support the community, and we're able to move through those things. So just want to acknowledge, the board sending those wishes to. And if you need contact details, I mean, I'm your man. I can flick those to you to pin such a thing. Just coming back to Christmas in the Park. So that's Clint, Mr. Chairman. That's how you know that card wasn't written by me, because one, you wouldn't be able to read it, and two, you wouldn't be complimenting me about the style of writing. That's well and truly down to our super hardworking coordinator. 14 days of Christmas was a very ambitious goal that we set for ourselves. You will recall when we were going through that funding round, obviously I had to stay out of it, but very much we knew we wanted to do something, and whilst we were very aware of what was going on around the community, around the district, around the country, in terms of events, we were thinking, can we do this? But what came out of it was pretty stunning. It was a very fast-moving, very fluid event in terms of how we delivered it. Obviously a big part of it was about making sure that we engage with all the different parts of our community. Mr. Chairman, there will be a report that will come back, a fairly comprehensive report that will set out what we did, how we did it, but more importantly, the impact. And that's the language we talk in. What is the impact? So we can pull off a cool event, but what is the impact to people, individually, as a collective, and so on and so forth. I was meeting with our coordinator the other day, and the impact was massive. We have got some pretty awesome statistics about engagement and whatnots, which really does justify the whole reason we did it. It was about you know, in this world, in this current state of play, what can we do to, as Tak said, put a smile on the face of people? That's all the objective was. And so I think, you know, the team did an amazing job. It was a big job. I think when we said 14 days, I don't quite think we thought through what 14 days would literally look like. And it certainly was a challenge, but I tell you what, even though everyone was, I know when we finished the parade on Christmas Eve, we were spent, everyone was absolutely shattered. But I think, you know, we achieved what we wanted to achieve, which was just make a difference to people, put a smile on their dial. Hopefully it would help people sort of leading into Christmas. So really want to acknowledge the board, because the board was an essential part of us delivering that plan. If the board had not supported in the way it did, then I don't know what some of our other sponsors and funders may have done had that not occurred. So I really want to acknowledge you know, what the board did in terms of supporting that koha towards the Safe Turangi kaupapa and the Christmas in the Park kaupapa, but obviously the fact that as a community we did benefit from it greatly. I always know that's the case when I get about 1.5 million messages from some of the whānau in Taupo wanting the same thing. It's kind of how we know that it's worked really well. Yeah, just really want to acknowledge that. So yeah, I don't have anything else to report, Mr. Chair, other than just to yeah, say, I mean, I've been involved in a bit of that and thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, kia ora.
Kia ora, Tom. Sorry, I've just got my chat window open. Kia ora, Tom. That's great. Thank you. John, did you want to add anything?
No, not really. I did pass on to the councillors about Safe Turangi and Christmas in the Park in the 14 days and how good an event it actually was. But yeah, apart from that, it's been quite, as you say, a hectic Christmas, and hopefully this year might calm down a little bit.
Yep. Okay. I'm not going to add anything further. That very comprehensive reports from the members. Thank you. I'll move the members' reports. Somebody move, please, the members' reports. Thank you, Rob. Second, Tom. All in favour?
Aye. Aye.
Against? That's agreed. Thank you. Now we need to move into